Hi everyone, Nigel here again. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see here today, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you don't like what you see, then press dislike and tell me why. I've got a review here today of a very new kit from a very new company called Copper State Models, and this is it there, CSM. And you can tell they're a very new company because this is CSM 35001. This is their first 35th scale kit. And it's part of their, I guess, what's going to grow into their British Armoured World War I series. So looking forward to more good stuff from them. I've seen Phil Flory's review of this kit, which is, to be honest, pretty much what made me buy it. It is beautiful. If I didn't know this kit came from Latvia, I would think this kit came from New Zealand, because it is like the vehicle arm, if you like, of Winged Up Wings. It is stunning. And when you see what I've got inside the box here, it's beautiful, and I'm sure many of you will go and buy one. It's a lovely, lovely kit. So a bit of history about the vehicle, just briefly, stuff I've got off of Wikipedia. Obviously you can look this up yourself and go into more detail if you want. But the Lanchester Armoured car was sort of pretty much all its life, from what I can read, in competition against the Rolls-Royce armoured car. And it would appear that pretty much the Rolls-Royce came out on tops because it was what the guys were used to. It was developed to support the air service and retrieve downed pilots, and in 1915 it came out. 1914 it was developed, and in 1915 it came out with a stronger chassis, the double rear wheels you see here for better weight distribution and better traction over rough ground. And also you've got the sloped armour here, which is something quite stunning for the day, really. 36% to France in 1915, and some of them went to Belgium to support the Belgian Air Force. On the Western Front they were pretty much let down by the because it's a 4x2, so because of the trenches and the mud and the bogs and everything, it didn't cope very well, so the Rolls-Royce sort of became the preferred option. 22 then went off to the Imperial Russian Army in December 15, where they replaced the gun. They fitted a Hotchkiss gun. And then in 1916 they were deployed to Caucasus, Romania and Galicia. I hope I'm saying them right, I'm sorry if I'm not. And they ended up going as far as Persia and Turkey. Now there's a statement on Wikipedia from a guy called Jack Livesey, and he praises this vehicle and says that basically in near desert to Arctic conditions in Russia, these vehicles covered 53,000 miles. So that's pretty impressive, and you know, I doubt there's many military vehicles in the world that ever cover that in their life. So yeah, pretty impressive stuff. So anyway, back to the kit, a quick look around the box. Here are the different options we've got. We've got the 6th Squadron 1916. This is the one operating in Persia. These are all Royal Naval Air Service. And then you've got the this one's unmarked to the RNS, but it's still RNS, in the summer 1917. And then the Belgian one with the pretty complex camo, you can see, with the tricolour and the black framing around each colour. I wonder actually how neat that really was. I wonder if they really took their time and made it as tidy as we always depict it on our kits. Nothing much on the end of the box there, and just basically some telling you all about it, and it's only one model and you should be over 14 if you want to make this. And I like the little line at the end there, thoroughly enjoy this model kit. I know I will, so thanks for that. And there's some details about the company. Produced in Latvia, Copper State Models, copperstatemodels.com. Look them up. I think I'm going to be getting some more stuff from these guys. So what I'll do, there's the box, there's the front. So I'll get this open. In fact, what I'll do is I'll open this now for you, because it's quite shocking, quite surprising. It's a very, very tight lid. And when you open the box, what you find inside is another box. And really classy looking sticker. And I think you can see what I mean with the sort of wings touch the white thick cardboard. And then we open up the box there, and got a beautiful box to work from, great strong box to put your sprues back in. And if, like me, a lot of your kits go back in the box and back in the stash, then it's a nice strong box to do that with. So I'll get this kit out, I'll get the instructions out, get all the parts debagged. I guess before that what I'll do, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of sprues and 1 bag of decals in there. Looks like we haven't got any clear parts. So let's get on with this, and I'll get these parts out of the sprues and we'll have a good look at these in the instructions. Right, so if we start off by looking quickly through the instruction manual, and you can see that this is a really nice manual. The cover is lovely. It's really, like I say, the whole, I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but it is so Wingnut Wings-ish, and the cover is like a thick blotting paper like card. It really is nice. We got on the front here, British Armoured car, Lanchester 1914. I think I should probably say 1915 from what I'm reading, unless of course Wikipedia is wrong, which is, I know, was unheard of. Anyway, from what I was reading, it said that in 1915 it came out with the modified chassis and the twin rear wheels, and you can see here they've started here by saying that a prototype was produced in December 14 with production following in 15. So yeah, I expect Wikipedia is wrong. So if we look here, we've got a description and a lovely photo from the box art of basically what the history of the vehicle, very close to what I was just telling you, which is what I got off of Wikipedia. And we got this lovely sort of aged pattern on the paper. A lot of people say, oh, it doesn't matter, it's an instruction book, you use it, you throw it away. You don't. A lot of people keep them, I certainly do, and especially when they're this kind of quality, they're lovely, and it kind of adds to the pleasure of model building. You know, model building is, after all, a hobby. It's supposed to be pleasurable, it's supposed to be enjoyable, and this extra mile on this just, you know, adds to the pleasure, if you ask me. I mean, everybody comments with Wingnut Wings about the beautiful kits and the beautiful way they go together and their fantastic instructions and blah 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 blah. You know, you don't hear people saying that bit to their in Ravel, do you? So right, moving along, we've got the sprue map. It's a fairly simple kit, there's not a hell of a lot to it. We've got the guide down here. We've got the warnings here about not sort of sticking sprues in your eyes, and don't swallow the glue, don't stick your hands through broken windows and things like that. And then you can see what I'm saying about this Wingnut Wings-ish look. It's you know, it's incredible. If you look on the Wingnut Wings website, you can sort of download every single one of their instruction manuals for every one of their kits, even the ones they don't make anymore, and you'll see what I mean. It's very, very Wingnut Wings-ish. The only thing Wingnut Wings do have over this, and I could stand corrected, I don't think I will, but Wingnut Wings actually give you reference shots, which I don't think you'll find in here. So yeah, you can see here we're putting the rear suspension onto the main rails, and then we're assembling the frame, bottom of the exhaust, the bottom of the engine design, so you don't get a full engine. Telling you here to check the fitting to make sure it's all square, and putting basically the floor and the chassis together, and then adding the front axle assembly, adding in steering components. You can see it's very, very simply broken down, so it's not too complex. You know, like sometimes, I'm sure you know, with Dragon kits there's 1,057 parts in one stage. This is all broken down very, very simply, very much like the modern Airfix instructions are. So here you can see here, add one side, add the other side, and add these pieces. It looks like whatever you add is coloured in blue. So yeah, it's amazing when you look at the shape of this vehicle. You know, when it's here, you look at it like that, it could be like an armoured a half-track, an American half-track. You know, it's so ahead of its time. Maybe the British invented sloped armour after all. So the installation of doors, spare parts and coil spring struts. So some suspension parts, and around the top of the armour there. We've got some little loops here for looking through, but I don't know if they'll be open or not. We'll have a look in a minute on the parts. Leaf springs going on, axles being put together. This is obviously the rear end. Exhaust system in there. Then we start making the turret. It's got this, it does mention it's got this strange turret with the sloped armour on the sides. Again, you know, it's quite amazing for its time. 1915, you know, what's that? It's 103 years ago, and they had this sloped armour, and really I think it was the Germans that really developed it in the Second World War with the Panthers and stuff, the sloped armour, I thought. So yeah, So going forward, we've got the toolboxes going on here, side skirts. I'm not exactly sure what these side skirts are for. I don't know if it's to stop them getting bogged down in mud here, or to protect all this stuff, or what, but it certainly gave it very little ground clearance. So I'm sure we'll see in the references when we start looking. And then that's it, the kit's finished, all put together, and then we're on to the different options. You can see here these wooden side skirts, which would be great for your wood painting. I've done a bit of how to do wood on my Fokker triplane build, if you look back at that in part 2 and 3, I think. And I've still got to develop my skills, but you know, basically it's I've managed to get something that looks like wood using a sort of process that's simpler than some use. So here we go. We got 6 Squadron, Good Hope. This one was called. And that's from 6 Squadron, and then we've got another one from 6 Squadron, 1916, and this is called Can It. So these are both from the same squadron. Yeah, you can see 6A2, 6B4 there, the squadron markings. And then we've got one here, closest colour is RAF Light Earth. So they're not giving you any actual proper call outs, but at least it's not ammo by MiG, use this colour, which is wrong, and the paint's rubbish, so that's a good thing. But I'm no doubt that it'll happen. It'll probably, the next kit will have AK colour or something in it, but if they just do what Wings do and give us an FS number as well, then we can always cross-reference it, please. So here we've got the one which went to Russia. This is Russian Armoured Car Division, so Admiralty dark grey. And then we got this beauty here, which is the Belgian colour scheme. You can see that's very, very attractive. And it's funny that, because if you look at it here, it looks on this side it has like a grey framing around all the camouflage, and on this one it's all black. How strange. Yeah, and if you look here, some is grey and some is black. How unusual. Also, the black line looks thicker. When you look at some of the German stuff, they had very similar armour, similar camouflage, but with a very thin black line. So yeah, there you go. And then there's some, they'd like to thank the people who helped them out here. So there's the people they thanked, and they thank you for all the help and continued support. And yes, I think you're thanking me for such continued support by buying it and doing this review, because this came out of my own pocket. And there's the company there. So yeah, have a look, see what you think. So let's have a look at these sprues. Right, so all the bags are sealed, they're not resealable, so okay, so I just did an edit there in case you didn't spot it. I expect you did. I just adjusted my lighting to get some better lighting. But yeah, we can see here we've got some lovely detailed leaf springs. Now, looking at these, something I'm impressed with straight away is quite often with components like this, they get sink marks. And there are no sink marks in these springs whatsoever. I'm sure we've all seen it where there'll be a sink mark right in the side of it there. And there's nothing. No sink marks whatsoever. And they're beautifully moulded. Got some bodywork there. Looks like front mud guards. Armour plating there, axle, the other half of the axle, some lovely bolt detail around it, more armour plating, and this looks like the very short chassis rails, although the vehicle's a lot bigger than this, I'm sure. So there's that, which is that's sprue, what is it, that's sprue B, and this is definitely going to need a wash. Mild ferry, some warm water, a couple of drops of ferry liquid, get it nice and soapy, chuck it in, chuck all the sprues in, leave them to soak for about, I don't know, half an hour in the water. Do this just to swill them around a bit, up and down, take them out the sink, empty the sink, clean the sink out of any foam bubbles, wash this off underneath the cold tap, shake it off, leave it on the side to dry. Leave it a few hours and it'll be dry. In the summer it'll dry in no time, or if your house is really warm. But yeah, trouble is, if you're fairly new to this hobby, you don't know why I'm talking like this. If you went on and built this kit as it is, especially if you're using acrylic paints, they will just rub off afterwards, they won't stick. A lot of cellulose paints and lacquer paints actually bite into the surface of the plastic, But these, the acrylic paints, and certainly like your likes of your Vallejo primers and stuff, don't. They just sit on the surface, and if there's a layer of oil there, you can imagine they just won't stick. So yeah, always worth. I mean, it's something I used to advise when I was a younger lad. I'm 55 now. People always used to say wash your kits. So yeah, wash your kits. It's good advice. You can't go wrong really, as long as you don't get the water too hot. So this here we've got sprue A. You can see on here we've got some bodywork. I must say I've noticed there's no flash on here. There's no ejector pin marks where you wouldn't want to see them. There's some lovely texture on there, lovely rivet detail. I'm told apparently this kit goes together like a dream. Nice exhaust detail there. You need to draw the end out yourself. That's not been slide moulded. Being a fairly new company, I wouldn't imagine they've got the investment for slide moulds. They cost a fortune. Even a mould like this is, you know, it's going to be a lot of money. Yeah, there's some ejector pin marks there on the inside, but they're on the inside, they're not going to be seen. And also, if you notice, like a lot of modern kits now, you see the ejector pins pushing through the other side, leaving like a white mark. You're not seeing that on this at all. So yeah, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Nice bit of radiator mesh detail there. That would look great with some paint and wash on it. But then I think it's got an armour plate over the front of it, hasn't it? So you're probably not going to see it. And we've got, here's a pair of sprues. A pair of identical sprues. This has got obviously the wheels. I don't know if that's the inside or the outside. It looks like it's probably the outside. Got some more armour plate in there with some lovely rivet or bolt detail, whatever it may be. Here's the side, one of those side skirts. It has no wood grain detail on it, and no planking detail by the look of it. So that'll be a good opportunity for me to show you how I do this, because I do enjoy adding wood grain and stuff. And I think it is planks rather than a sheet of ply. So yeah, I'll show you how to do that when it comes to me building it, which I think will be very, very soon. These wheels, the tread is pretty much non-existent, but I've no doubt it's accurate. And it's also nice to see that their sprue connection points and ejector pin connection points are on the raised area, so they'll be really easy to sand down. But these spokes, yeah, they're probably a little bit overscale because they're plastic rather than PE, but by God they are nice. And I don't know what I can do here to give you an idea of how fine they are. I know. I get a cocktail stick. I put a cocktail stick next to it, and you can see now just how fine they are. So, you know, they're what? Less than half a diameter. So yeah, nice, very nice. There's some headlight detail and stuff there, and shockers on detail. I'm also noticing this kit, I feel like it's got very, very little, if any, seam line. That toolbox is nice as well. They've moulded the seam line into the lid, and the sprue connection points are on the lid, so you haven't got to actually cut away. A lot of the times, like Hobby Boss and Trumpeter will put the connection point halfway across the two, and you've got to carve it away. But that's just going to need snipping off and sanding. So yeah, nice. Copper stake models are impressing me today. I hope they're impressing you. And then here's another last couple of sprues, just another pair of sprues with wheels. I guess this might be the outers, I don't know. I should imagine it's the inners, and then I can't remember from the instructions, and then the outer rim will be like here, will be part of the, you know, moulded in with the tyre. It saves you having to worry about that seam, but I could be wrong. But yeah, as I say, two of these, beautifully moulded, really, really nice. I should imagine when they're painted and weathered, they're going to look lovely. But there's no, I've actually built that Tamiya 6-scale motorbike with spoked wheels, and cleaning up the spokes was an absolute bloody nightmare. But it looks like these don't actually have any seam mark at all. If there is, I mean, what I would suggest, you've probably seen it some of my builds, is just get some Tamiya extra thin on a brush and just brush up and down in and out those spokes. If there's any seam line there at all, it'll be gone. So there we have all the parts, and now for a final look at the decals we've got in here. You can see it comes in its own resealable bag, a Ziploc bag, which is nice. So we'll get these out. It's always nice to be able to put your decals away again. And there we have there's the decal sheet. And if you look down in the bottom left hand corner, what does it say? Printed by Cartograph. So they're going to be good. There's going to be no issue whatsoever. They're not glossy, they're not matte, they've got a nice sheen to them, they're not thick, they're in perfect register. I would imagine with these wrangles you probably want to put something white behind them. I'm not too sure, maybe someone can tell me if they've done Cartograph British wrangles on a dark scheme, then do they need to put white behind them? I would imagine you probably do. But if you're going to weather this and dirty it up, then it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, lovely, and there's all your different options for all the 6 squadron, and you've got your Canet, Good Hope names there as well. So yeah, all in all, a really, really lovely kit. So this has been the Copper State Models Lanchester Armoured Car, kit number 35001. I would go and get yourself one. It's bloody lovely.